I'm sure you're wondering why I gathered you all here today. We are here to watch my tournament run, ADV Revival 3. I've never done a tournament ever, but it was recommended to me by somebody in my Discord, so I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. I have no idea what I'm doing. I can barely read. So here's my first opponent ever. It's Spyros007. If you're unaware of how this tournament works, it's basically a bunch of rounds where we're all going to be picked off by a Darwinism. Only the strongest will survive. And each one of the rounds is a best of 3. If you don't understand math, that means you have to win 2 games against your opponent. So this is my first opponent right here. Spoiler alerts, these games, they were pretty close. Pretty close. Why are we watching a replay? It's because I did this live, as I normally do, with the live commentary and me, panicking and stuff like that. Well, I rewatched the recording. The audio was dead. There was nothing there, so it was just, it was a vast a vacuum of nothingness. So I couldn't do that. So here we are. So I'm salvaging the wreckage. I haven't brought the webcam thing. So hopefully this will suffice and make you people happy. Another thing too is because this is a replay, we can't actually see my Pokemon as we normally do. So I'll just tell you right now, for game 1 here, I am using the Big 5. It's the TSS team. It's literally the same team that I was using on all my laddering videos prior to this. If you know, you know. It's the same exact team, right? So in other words, Tyranitar, Skarmory, Blissey, Swampert, Gengar, and I have a Starmie. As for them, well, I'm not going to tell you what they have. You're going to have to learn through pain and agony the way I did. So let's go right into this battle, shall we? So here we go. I let off with everybody's favorite metal bird of destruction that's very hard to remove. They're going to start off with Zapdos. Now keep this in mind, guys. When I saw it Zapdos, I was like, oh, it's got Agility Baton Pass. But little did I know, as I said earlier, I cannot read. Speed Pass is banned in this tournament. So the whole entire game right here, I thought that Zapdos had it. But it didn't. So I brought in my Blissey anyway to block that Zapdos or whatever. And I just went for a safe Toxic because I was like, okay, they're going to run away. And it thankfully connected with the Tyranitar. But you know what didn't connect? That Rock Slide. That was kind of funny, man. Not that it would have really done much damage to begin with, but that was kind of cool. So I'm just going to launch an Earthquake right here. And of course, they've got this stupid Celery Onion Fairy thing, which is like the worst thing that a Swampert could ever see. It did no damage to them. So I'm going to run away like a coward right here. And I chose Skarmory because I wanted to get some spikes up. I was fully aware of maybe a Hidden Power Fire, but I didn't care. And I was also fully aware of possibly a Leech Seed, which did in fact happen because they obviously knew I was going to run away like a coward. So here I go, going for 1 layer of spikes. I remember saying this in the live commentary too. I said I'm going to go for 1 and I'm going to retreat because they might have a Rapid Spinner. And lo and behold, they have Starmie. So I'm like, okay. So I switched into Swampert and they missed Hydro Pump. Remember that, guys. So they've actually missed 2 attacks so far. That would have done a good chunk to Swampert. Probably like, I don't know, 40 or 50. So they get the spikes off the field and I go for Earthquake. When you see 51 damage on Starmie, that's very good because the sand procs before leftover. So in other words, I did like 57 damage. So that's good. So they can't just cringe, recover, stall me for all eternity. But they didn't do that. They went into their Celebi. So I was like, okay, they're probably going to go for like a Grass Move or Leech Seed. So I went back to Skarmory again for the second time. So they did go for Leech Seed. Don't worry, that Leech Seed did connect unlike the Rock Slide and Hydro Pump. So I'm like, I literally did the same thing. I was like, I'm going to get up a layer of spikes because I don't know what I'm getting myself into. They changed their plan up. Instead of going to Starmie, they actually choose the Electric Bird of Destruction. So Skarmory, Zapdos, you don't have to be a professional to know that's not a good idea. So I brought in Blissey right here. They have Baton Pass. Guys, when I saw that Baton Pass, I was so fully convinced it had Agility Baton Pass. Spoiler alerts, it didn't because you could not do this. That was against the rules. So they brought in Tyranitar. I'm scared for my life. So I switched, and they knew I would switch because I'm the most predictable person ever. And they punched Swampert in its little mudfish gill things, and it did quite a bit of damage. That Hydro missed from earlier and the Rock Slide missed earlier from Tyranitar. If that all accumulates, Swampert would be on life support right now. But I did expect that Celebi to come in. So I hit it with an Ice Beam, and I damn near burst out in tears. It did 25. What am I supposed to do with that? So I kind of knew this thing was tanky, and then I go for Protect, And then it just goes for Recover. I went for Protect to see if it had Giga Drain. I was like, I hope you don't have Recover. It had Recover. So then I switched to Blissey, and things just get worse. This Celebi was such a pest. I brought in Blissey, and I'm just getting the life sucked out of me by those Leech Seeds. So they're going to go for Baton Pass, revealing to me another move that they had. They brought in Starmie. I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, I'm going to hit this thing with a Toxic, so it's not a big deal. Guys, it was a huge deal. Watch this. Watch. That thing got like 30% HP back from one Leech Seed from Blissey. I kind of underestimated how disgustingly tanky Blissey had. It literally got 30. Oh, watch this. Remember that Poison? Well, this is the second turn of that stuff going, so it's actually more. After Leech Seed, they're at 80. That is no bueno. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to start a new life, and I went back to... Oh, no, now I'm going to go into my own Starmie. So I was aware... I brought in Starmie expecting Tyranitar, because that's what they did last time. They wanted to go for Focus Punch. But I brought in Starmie, went for Surf. I was fully aware that it would not unalive that thing, but I was cool with that because I just wanted to get some progress. That Tyranitar was putting a lot of pressure on my Blissey, so I just wanted to see it in the grave forever. And they do allow it to die. I guess they didn't want to try and Leech Seed something and bring in Tyranitar with that poison there, so whatever. So if you bring in a Starmie on my Starmie, that's code for... You have Thunderbolt. Why on earth would you not, you know, like, it's math, guys. It's math. You guys know I'm good at math. I can't read, but I got the math. Nice paralysis, by the way. It's going to connect with Blissey. Did like 11 and paralyzed me. It's not a big deal, though. But, oh, the Dugtrio! What an evil plan. They knew that they would paralyze me, so they brought in Dugtrio to trap me. It was actually very important that I paralyze or poison that thing, because watch this. They obviously go for Earthquake, and I go for Ice Beam, and that thing actually lived. It lived on 1 HP. God, I didn't feel like doing any damage calcs, but I think that's just a regular one. I don't think it had any HP investment, nothing. So if I missed that Toxic, Blissey would be dead right now. But luckily it's still alive. I'm going to try to preserve it, but it's not going to work out because you can't really bring in Blissey ever when it's already low on HP because it's slower, so people can just unalive it. So I brought in Swampert here, expecting Thunderbolt, but I was like, okay, this Zapdos is weird. Does it have Hidden Power Grass? And it absolutely does. I was like, dude, look at this thing's moves. Thunderbolt, Baton Pass, Hidden Power, Agility. Why would you have Agility? That's just weird. Why? And oh my god. And this was obviously the moment when I realized it doesn't have Speed Pass. So I was just fooling myself the whole entire game. It just has Thunder Wave, which didn't matter. They were predicting some kind of switch. Thankfully, I just went into Blissey and I found out that very, very important information. Then Blissey dies, so I bring in Gengar to punch this thing in the face, which I do. And unfortunately, what move do you guys think this thing went for? Obviously, Thunder Wave, because a paralyzed Gengar, not very good. So because I can't kill with Ice Punch by judging by that damage, I just full sent it. I just went for Explosion, and I was like, yes, it hit Celebi. It didn't really do that much damage, so I was kind of bummed about that. So this is where I get serious. I bring in my Tyranitar. My Tyranitar does have Hidden Power Bug, so I'm aware that this thing will die. And it can't go to Starmie. Starmie's at 30 or 80, so it'll switch in and take like 1,000,000 damage, and then I'll kill it the next turn if they want to do that. But they chose to let Celebi die. I did get infected with the disgusting Leech Seeds. And I was kind of surprised, but they brought in Zapdos. I don't think that was a good idea. I think they should have saved Zapdos for my Swampert, because as you can see, they went for Hidden Power Grass. And I just killed him with a Rock Slide, right? And by the way, I think Thunderbolt would have done slightly more, but whatever. Not a big deal. So now I have Tyranitar, and I just decided to just let this thing die, because I didn't want to bring in any of my other Pokemon. This Starmie was very dangerous. Oh, don't worry. They connected that Hydro Pump. Spoiler alerts. The next ones will be struggling a little bit. So I bring in Swampert because I'm looking at this thing's moves. I'm like, okay, Hydro Pump, Rapid Spin, Thunderbolt. Well, you don't have Thunder Wave and Recover. You can only have one. So I just went for Earthquake because we saw that damage earlier. They brought in a Swampert, and this is their final Pokemon, man. So I was scared of Toxic, so I ran away like a coward into my Skarmory. They didn't even go for Toxic. They just clicked Earthquake, so I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to click Toxic whether you switch or stay in or not. Because if this thing doesn't have Refresh and I hit it with Toxic, well, then I can just basically cringe stall this thing to death. Nice crit, by the way. Don't think I did not see that. So that did a decent amount of damage, and I just decided to go for, I believe I did a Cringe Protect right here. I absolutely did. Skarmory, Cringe Incarnate, as always. But obviously, since it failed, I can go for Protect this turn. Guys, watch this. Watch this. Watch this Hydro Pump. It literally missed. I did not block that with Protect. They just missed another Hydro Pump. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to die. So I bring in my Swampert, and thank God they didn't go for Hydro Pump. That would have been a problem. I mean, think about all the potential damage Swampert's been dodging. They could have went for Hydro Pump. They didn't. They went for Thunderbolt. I'm immune to that. They went for Ice Beam here, which did a decent amount, which kind of lets me know right then and there, this thing is kind of offensive. So Swampert's dodging a lot of problems right now, thankfully. They bring back in that Swampert. Obviously, they're expecting Earthquake. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to full send it. I need to know right here, right now, if this thing has Refresh or not. So I went for Protect. If it had Refresh, oh well. But they just go for Hydro Pump. That one actually did connect. And that was kind of code to me that this thing, it must not have Refresh, or else they would have done it right there. That would just be a silly move. So I swap in a Skarmory here. They are going to connect another Hydro Pump. And did a good amount of damage. But I can just, I mean, look, it did 32. So if I go for a Cringe Protect here, which I think I did. I did. Awesome. I was ready to live another Hydro Pump. I should have seen this Starmie coming, though, because I thought, I figured that was very obvious. But I don't know. I don't know. So I went for Protect here. They missed Hydro Pump. Don't think we didn't see that. And I was like, okay, well, I already have Swampert Poison. There's no point in poisoning the Starmie because it has Natural Cure. They went for Ice Beam. Very, very odd play because now I'm going to get a free layer of Spikes up. Because I wasn't going to go for Roar. And I couldn't, well, I could Protect, but I wasn't going to be that guy. But I am going to be that guy now. Go for Protect to get some HP back. They're going for Ice Beam. I guess they're very scared of, like, Swampert coming in. Because they're kind of realizing my Swampert is... my win condition. This Starmie can eliminate my Starmie by outspeeding and going for Thunderbolt. So they finally, I allow them to bring down my Skarmory, and I bring in the Destroyer of Worlds, Swampert. Alright? And then check this out, guys. All those Hydro Pump misses, they came back. I cannot make this up. Bro just freezes me in the first game of the first round of the first tournament I've ever been in. And then they miss a Hydro Pump! Defa! Earthquake, bye-bye, see you later. And I think they believe, I think they typed in GG right about here, right? Yeah, I think they realized that they were cooked. So they bring in this poor injured sick Swampert. It's literally poisoned. They said GG, yeah. And then they missed a Hydro Pump. One more turn and I put that thing out of misery with Surf, by the way. That was the first time I used Surf. I'm glad I'd used Surf in the end. I had to prove to you guys that I wasn't using Hydro Pump myself. I had Surf on both Starmie and my Swampert because I understand the potential consequences and ramifications of using Hydro Miss, as we all know, if you've been watching this channel for a minute. So that's game one. So let's get to game two now. Oh, dear God. So here we have game two. And this game was way different than game one. It was rough for me. It was rough. I was struggling. So for this game, I'm going to be using a very offensive team. I'm going to be leading off with Medicham, and then I have an Agility Metagross, a Dragon Dancing Salamence, and then I've got a Snorlax with Boom, a Magneton to, defeat Skarmory, and then Suicune, which is my really only special attacker outside of Magneton. So let's get right into it. So as I just said, I'm going to be leading off with my Medicham, and they also brought, obviously, a different team. They're going to start with Tyranitar, and I don't know if this was really obvious or not, but I did just go for Brick Break, but looking back on it, I think I should have went for Rock Slide expecting a Salamence, which is kind of funny because they just sent in a Gengar instead, but I think Rock Slide is just better. And as you can see, dude, I didn't care about the possible Willow Miss. I went for Shadow Ball for two reasons. One, I did not care, and two, it could have missed. Unfortunately, two did not happen. So I did do Shadow Ball, but it didn't do as much damage as I thought it would. Like, I knew I was burned, but I'm still really strong. And they send in a Skarmory. I was like, see, normally you would panic, but as I said earlier, I've got the Magneton. So they went for a disgusting layer of spikes to annoy me for the rest of the game because I do not have a Rapid Spinner. And I do thankfully just one-shot that Skarmory and get rid of that Pokemon, and that's the last Pokemon that's going to get rid of for a while. now they're going to bring in Moltres, who is eons faster than my Magneton. So I'm like, oh, maybe I could hold on a Magneton for later. I don't need this Medicham. It's burned. So you can just go ahead and burn this thing to the ground with your flamethrower, which I did do. Now, this was a weird play. I'm actually faster than their Moltres, but I didn't know that. So I was expecting maybe a Will-O-Wisp. So I went for Dragon Dance anyway, and I was like, what, I'm faster? Because my my Salamence has Rock Slide, so I could have just killed it right there. But then they missed Will-O-Wisp. I was like, whoo, that was weird, man. That was very dangerous. I got lucky. Very, very lucky there. But you're going to realize it doesn't matter because, well, I mean, I missed Rock Slide there, but that didn't really matter. But it's just the fact that they have a Swampert. Like, it didn't matter if I was burned or not. I can't do any damage to Swampert. So I run away into Snorlax, who just has a million natural special defense, expecting the Ice Beam, which they did do. And now I'm going to go for a very, very futile Body Slam, expecting a Paralysis. Spoiler alert, there was no Paralysis. That would have been a bit handy. So right now I'm sad. So I say, hey, you know what? I could go Boom next turn, but I think that's too obvious. So I'm going to go Boom this turn, and guess who they brought in to ruin my day? Gengar. So this dude's like inside my head right now. I'm like, okay, I just lost that guy, but I'm going to try and eliminate the Gengar with my Magneton. Guys, my Magneton, I need to change this, but it doesn't actually have Hidden Power Grass. It has Hidden Power Fire. So they send in Swampert to, you know, see what's going on. They're obviously immune to the Thunderbolt. And right here, I was like, man, I wish I had Hidden Power Grass. So I went for a Toxic because I just didn't care. And they thought that I would just switch out of fear into my Salamence, right? Which was a good play, but I mean, I actually did good by being dumb. I made the right play. So thank God that I'm dumb. So I luckily poisoned that Swampert and kept my Magneton alive. So I brought in Salamence anyway, because I just didn't care at this point with Salamence. I was looking at this team, I'm like, dude, I can't really find a way to get this guy in. Because my other Pokemon are Metagross and Suicune, so I was like, well, I mean, it's pretty much GG's. I need to just pack up my bag. So here I was just going for futile Hidden Power Flyings, and of course, Blissey being the disgusting Pokemon that is, it's just going to go for Soft Boil. It's right in front of me, and I go for yet another Hidden Power Flying. They don't want to risk getting, or me getting a crit on them, so they just eliminate me with Ice Beam. Fair enough. So now I bring in Metagross, right? My plan is I'm going to go for Agility here, and then maybe if I just get lucky enough, I can kill everybody with some Meteor Mashes and Attack Boosts and stuff. But I realized I couldn't do that because they have this Moltres. But they didn't send in Moltres. They actually sent in Swampert. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's still a problem anyway. So I'm going to punch that guy in the face because I can't switch into anything else. I could have switched into Suicune, but... oh, by the way, remember, that Earthquake did 50. So right here, I decided to go for Earthquake, but I should have went for Explosion. Because I thought I would live their Earthquake. No, I died to their Earthquake. They got a higher roll, so I'm dead here. I didn't want to send in my Suicune on that because if the Swampert had Roar or something, I would get roared out and lose my progress. Because remember, they have a layer of spikes up. And I need my Suicune to be healthy, right? Because I'm kind of running out of options. So with my Magneton here, I did go for a Rain Dance. Your eyes do not deceive you. My plan was... I wanted to just clear the weather because even though they have a Tyranitar, what I can do here is, well, first things first, I'm going to go for the obvious Calm Mind. If Swampert has Roar or something, it doesn't matter because I'm the final Pokemon, obviously. So they know that I'm the final Pokemon, so they immediately send in Tyranitar because they want to keep constant damage on Suicune, right? Because Suicune can do pretty good in the late game. So they do that immediately. I went for a Surf. I actually thought that would eliminate it because my Suicune is modest. And I believe it's max special attack. And they just end up poisoning me, which I didn't really care too much. My Suicune's moveset, by the way, is Calm Mind, Rest, Surf, Ice Beam. And then they go for a Taunt. I was like, ugh. So I can't go for any more Calm Minds and get stronger. So I was like, okay, well, I literally can't go for Calm Mind or Rest. I'm taunted. So I just eliminate it with Surf, get rid of that Tyranitar. And then I kind of realized that I'm just done for because they have the Gengar. The Gengar can just blow me up, and then, you know, that's GG. So, but I keep playing anyway because I didn't want to forfeit. So I went for Rest on Swampert. I don't know if that was the correct play or not. Maybe I should have just eliminated it with Surf, but I did go for Rest. That's just what I thought of. So I'm going to live. Now I'm at 70% HP. The Swampert is going to die of the poison. This is when I was like, oh yeah, well, I lost. Because they bring in the Gengar here. They go for Thunderbolt, obviously, because I'm asleep. So I burn my first turn of sleep, right? I'm going to burn a second one, obviously, the next turn. So they're going to go for another Thunderbolt the next turn, obviously. maybe they'll get a crit or something, but they did not. So I'm still asleep here. So I'm like, okay, well, this is it. They're going to go for explosion, right? And then that's it. We're going to have to move on to game 3, but we had a fun time, and they went for taunt. Yep. And I was like, I didn't really think about going for rest or calm mind or nothing. I was like, dude, I lost. So I just went for surf, and I ended up killing the Gengar. So I was like, wait, what? The moment I killed that Gengar, I noticed, like, oh my god, I can win. So I go for surf on this Blissey, right? Because I can't do anything else. I'm taunted. So I have to go for surf. And I live on 5% HP after that sand. So obviously, I have to go for rest because that Moltres must be faster. So if I eliminate Blissey, it'll just come in the next turn, take me out with Hidden Power Grass. So I have to go for rest, right? So I do that. I don't have a choice. And remember, I don't have Sleep Talk, so I have no choice but to just be asleep for 2 turns. So they stay in. They go for Seismic Toss. So I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think that the Blissey has Thunderbolts, because I think they would have been trying to do that so they could score a crit and then just eliminate my Suicune. I'm not entirely sure. I never saw it go for Thunderbolt, but here we go. So I'm gonna wake up this turn. I can't go for Calm Mind, because if it goes for Seismic Toss, it'll do 25 and then I'll die of the sand. So I have to go for Surf, but I actually chose to go for Rest. And the reason being was because I wanted to be as healthy as possible for that Moltres, because it can crit me with Hidden Power Grass and then I would just lose. So basically my plan is, what I'm saying is, you can't see it here on the screen because I guess it's weird with the replays, but it says it has 26 Seismic Tosses. It does not. It had like now it's 25. The pressure thing isn't working, so it was missing 14 power points. So my plan was to basically just PowerPoint cringe stall the Seismic Tosses, and then I would be healthy enough for Moltres to come in. But they actually predict me to go for rest, so they made a good play. So they're bringing in Moltres now. So they're going to go for Hidden Power Grass, and they need to crit my Suicune, obviously, because I'm a ticking time bomb. If I wake up and click Surf, that thing is going to drown in the Pacific Ocean. So that's turn 1. They go for another one. This is going to be turn 2. Obviously, can't wake up. I'm sitting there sleeping, and it all comes down to this final turn of turn 40, right? So are they going to get a crit? They did! I lied. They didn't. I just wake up and kill the Moltres, and then I just outspeed Blissey, obviously, the next turn, and then eliminate that. And as you can see in the chat, my opponent said GG. Yeah. That game, it was something, all right. So if you were paying attention, I literally eliminated Skarmory, and then that was it. And then Suicune took out the whole entire team by itself. Wow. And what's funny is the rest of my team, my 5 other Pokemon, you see how Suicune brought down 5 by itself? My other 5 Pokemon were practically useless. Like, they were just dropping like flies. So that was a very close call. As you guys know, I do like Suicune because of stuff like that. Around halfway through that one, probably around the moment where they brought in that Swampert on my Salamence, and I was like, oh god, they've got a Swampert. Because if they didn't have Swampert, my Salamence actually could have beat their whole team, because I got the HP Flying for Gengar, Earthquake for Tyranitar, Rockslide, Moltres. Blissey would have died. I would have survived 1 Ice Beam, but I'd kill it with 2 HP Flyings. But that Swampert, when I saw that thing, I was like, dude, my whole entire game plan is gone for. That's why I tried to paralyze it with Snorlax and hope that it just wouldn't move. Because once I got eliminated, I was like, I have no way of killing this thing. But Magneton actually kind of low-key saved the day, because, well, 1, it poisoned Swampert, which otherwise could have done some damage before it fainted to the poison, and 2, I was able to clear the weather, which kind of was important because it bought me 1 free turn. That free turn was huge because I got a free Calm Mind up, and I did expect that Tyranitar to come in because they wanted to get the sand up. So because Tyranitar came in, I knew I didn't have to worry about Gengar coming in and clicking Thunderbolt, something like that. Because I would have been only at 1.5 special defense or something, and you know, that they could have just lowered me enough and then maybe took me out with Moltres or something. So basically, long story short, I had to do what I did. Like, every single play at the moment of me clicking a Rain Dance with Magneton had to be precise, or I would have lost this battle, and then I would have been sad. I also had to dodge a bunch of crits too. So that's all round 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary. This is literally my first commentary with a webcam. Let me know down below if you guys want to continue seeing it. Maybe we'll do some, maybe sometimes we'll do it. Maybe sometimes I won't have it. Maybe we'll make it a regular thing. Let me know. I just want to put the webcam here because, well, I didn't have the live commentary, so I had to do my best to, you know, as I said earlier, to salvage from the wreckage. I had to get all the spare parts around here to make this as good as it could be. So GG's to Spyros007. I am now 1-0 in the tournament. I believe it's like 9 rounds of Swiss, or as I like to call it, survival. So like you, if you get 3 losses, you're out. But if you go, I guess 7-2 or better, you move on to the final bracket. I think it's like a 32-person bracket. And yeah, and I am very confident that I will not make that. For all we know, I'm gonna go 1-3, but I didn't go 0-3, right? So a win's a win. Okay, guys, like the video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in some other future video. Take care.